Hello everyone, Namaste, welcome. Do you feel taken for granted? I know a lot of us do, especially a lot of us on the spiritual pathway are used to being the nice people. There is nothing so nice about being a nice person for the most part. I still remember at the beginning of my journey, I was faced with a question of whether I wanted to be an authentic person or a nice person. And I was like, if I have to sacrifice being nice for being authentic, I don't want it. And that doesn't take you very far. So it sounds like a tough choice, but what I'm about to share with you now is the things I've learned on my journey. I used to be this people-pleasing person. I just couldn't say no to anybody, and it caused me a lot of problems. And you do so much for other people, you feel like nobody even bothers about you. Forget about, going out of their way to help you out or something. And then you get stuck with people who offered you a lot in the beginning of a relationship, and the moment you're in a relationship, they suddenly don't care anymore. Things like that. Sounds familiar, right? So in my experience, I find that there are two kinds of nice people. Most of us belong to the category of the nice person, where we are nice because we're actually afraid. It's not that we are nice because of love or because we are resting in our own power. No, we are actually afraid to be nasty. And that is why we are nice. I'm not saying go out there and practice being nasty. That's not what I'm saying, okay? But what I am saying is start bringing your awareness to the fact that you're nice because you're afraid and not because you actually love the other person. And the sad part of this? They sense it. And that is why there is a total lack of gratitude for all the sacrifices that you make, because they don't feel it like you're doing it for them, and you're not. You're doing it because you're afraid, and they don't feel like you've done any favors to them because you actually haven't done any favors. So how do we get out of this and shift into being the second kind of nice person, which is when you actually share your own light, where you're nice because you want to be nice. And the beauty about experiencing or being that nice person is that you can just be nice to people and you genuinely don't expect anything in return. You can just be nice because you want to be nice, and there's no other reason. And it's so much in the moment that even if the person eventually just disses you and walks off, and trust me, this has happened in my life as well. So I am speaking from experience here. They can just say, oh, you suck. You know what? You ruined my life. Get lost. And you're like, what about all the things that I did? But you don't mind. You don't regret one single thing that you did. You're not even feeling that, oh, what an ungrateful person. It's just not there. Because you're aware that every single nice thing that you did because you felt like doing it, because it made you happy. So how do we make the transition? How did I make the transition? There are a few steps you work on consciously, and one of the most predominant ones is to integrate your power. So start observing and take this observation deeper and deeper. When you're being nice, what is it that you're really doing? What is it that you're really afraid of? If you can start journaling every day, just for 15 minutes, and note down the instances during the day where you were really nice to someone, where you sacrificed yourself to somebody, for somebody. And then start analyzing it. What am I really feeling here? What am I really afraid of over here? And you don't have to do anything to fix it. All you really need to do is to bring it into your awareness. And especially if you already have a strong spiritual practice, it could be Reiki, it could be daily meditation, anything. As long as you have a strong daily practice, that creates enough fire in your system to transmute this into, transmute this lack of power into healthy power in your system. The second one is self-love. If you don't have anything inside, you have nothing to give. And if you don't love yourself enough, nobody around you is going to feel loved because you don't have anything to give. And whatever you have inside, you're sacrificing for other people. Love does not actually involve any sacrifice. You do it happily. You do it because it makes you happy. How is that a sacrifice? So how we can work on that is by really looking at what we seek from other people. What are the needs, the emotional needs that you have that are not being fulfilled? Because I think nice people are most often the most lonely because they're just giving off themselves and receiving so little in return. So there's a lot of void in your heart. Just start going inside and look, what are you really hoping to receive? And try your best to give it back to yourself. Be the people that you need. You can find replacements. For example, if you're a kinesthetic person, you really like, you respond to touch, you feel the need to be touched affectionately. Well, you can't really do that. I used to hug myself at times. It used to help. You can try going for massages, though it's not the same, but it helps. If you're a visual person, it's much easier to satisfy yourself. You can look at nice paintings, or whatever satisfies you. If you are hoping that your partner will bring you financial stability, be your own provider. These are just little examples. Get the drift. Be whatever you need from other people, and that allows you to stand up in your own power and take more and more action for your own well-being. And one of the most important things is also food. I think food very directly communicates with your body how much you love yourself. If you are feeding your tongue and not your soul, you're not eating for the well-being of your body. You're telling your body you're not worth investing in. My pleasure is more important to me than your well-being. It's very hard to really love yourself if you're putting trash inside your body. So avoid all junk food completely. How would you like it if somebody that you loved you most of the times, but every once in a while they just slapped you? You don't want love in moderation. You just want love. So if you love your body, you don't make exceptions for eating trash. Unless it's, in some really dire circumstances, there's nothing else to eat, you're hungry. Yeah, maybe little exceptions here and there, but no, not, it's been a month, let me have some chips. Don't do that. Don't abuse your body. Give it nourishing food. Avoid packaged foods. Avoid refined flours, refined sugars, refined oils. It sounds, so unspiritual talking about food to a lot of people, but it's not. It's a very, very prominent aspect of self-love, because what you eat directly becomes your body. You are what you eat. So you love yourself. Eat like you love yourself. Never overeat. Never starve yourself. Feed the body as it needs. And lastly, I would say read up a lot. Read up extensively on how to draw boundaries, how to draw healthy boundaries, and start practicing them. I think between all of these things, you can also start looking at people who are drawing healthy boundaries. This was one of the biggest lessons for me when I was really struggling with being able to say no, and I got myself into a very tight spot. I just didn't know how to crawl out of it. I noticed that one of my friends was extremely good. She could just say no on your face and you would not feel bad about it. So I started observing her very carefully. What would she say? What would she do? And then I would reflect back on myself, and I started to realize every single time somebody was violating my boundaries, I was actually getting so angry that in order to not hurt them, because if I opened my mouth and said something, even if it was, mildly indicating what I felt, it would be hurtful. So in order to not hurt them, I would just swallow it myself. But then when I started to just accept who they were and, accept the moment for what it was, the anger just disappeared, and you can, Come from your power and speak normally and rationally and kindly. Being in your power does not mean saying hurtful things. It means stating what you want kindly, and yet firmly enough to not let the other person violate you. So yes, working on all of these things will slowly start helping you stand up on yourself. You learn to love yourself, and you learn to stand in your own power. And together, when these two things come together, you will start to realize that people don't actually take you for granted anymore, and that you'll receive a lot more love back in return. I hope this helped. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.